Let's make a little bit more progress. So last time I had talked about a to-do about saving the position into the session storage only on unload. And we can kind of take a look at where we're doing that now. It's in the scene manager, and we have this thing called forward channel. Where is it? Oh, maybe it's in the orchestrator. Forward camera movement, where it listens for camera movement events from VR, and then it throttles them from VR or the active camera, whatever the active camera is. It throttles it and it sends it to the space channel. So probably too much concern for the scene manager. On the other hand, maybe not, because you could just let's see. Well, you still want to throttle it. The camera's moving, and then you could push that to the space channel because the scene manager now has access to the orchestrator, which has access to the channel. So it totally could live inside there as well. But anyway, here I have this session persistence so that on every camera movement, we're saving this JSON payload into this thing. So we can take a look at this thing. This is something that is instantiated as soon as the file is run. And we have this save camera position, which takes a data of any, apparently, and it saves it into a key and saves that data. I think we can improve this. We don't want any, do we? So I believe the camera, okay, so if we go back to the usage here, this message is a payload of position rotation, so it would at least say this. Yeah, data is a type of position with number, and rotation is a number. Now, could we, let's see, could we stash that when the window's unloaded? So if we test this really quick, we can go localhost. So as we're in a space, I'm going to, let's see, point this over and come look at this cone here. And then if I refresh, I stay here, which is the effect that I wanted. But if I turn this off, so if I go to orchestrator and I turn the session persistence off, and then now I move my camera to a new position, say looking this way, when I reload this, I'm getting the previous save position, or perhaps no position at all. So if I just close this, I have no prior position and I'm not saving a new position. So I'm just at the origin, and if I go like this and then I refresh and I just return here. So I want to see if there's an unload callback. This isn't like a critical issue, it'd be fine, but there is a before unload event. So let's look for an example here. Add event listener. In this example, page listens for changes to a text input. If the element contains value, it adds a listen for before unload. Now, I don't care about ifs. Well, I guess we could listen to if there was something that was joined. If it element is empty, it removes this. So, all right, let's try this. Copy that, and so we're listening for joined, right? So if you do join the space, that's where we're going to do the forward camera movement. And let's also add event listener before unload. So listener has a function, and then what is capture? Capture is true. Add event listener options. Okay, let's just put a function in here. And let's see, console.log for unload called. So I'm here. I won't be able to see it, right? So maybe I need to alert. So if I just refresh, okay, didn't look like it got called. Unload, blocked alert before unload. Okay, but it looks like it was called. Okay, but it blocked the alert. All right, that's fine. So let's do this. At this point, the camera and everything should exist, and we'll say that the scene active camera session persistence dot save camera position and rotation, and payload should come from this scene active camera position to array, and this scene active camera rotation get active camera what? Rotation. Where is it? Absolute rotation to absolute rotation. And what is this? That is a quaternion. A quaternion to array. How are we getting this before? So let's look at the scene manager. Scene manager, camera moved. So this comes from as array. As array. Okay, let's do this. That's what we want. Pop that in there. Pop this in there. import reduce sig figs. So now we're not doing this on every rotate, we're just doing it when you joined, joined. So when you've joined, we create a save on unload before unload. Which no matter what, there should be an active camera. And we only do this after yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this actually. Let's see if this works. So we'll clear this. Now we'll just navigate over like this, and we'll refresh. And we did not get our position back. Auto leave before unload. Alright, so let's see if we've got any kind of position here. Console log. Right, let's put the console log inside. Console log in before unload, and here's position, and here's rotation. Did we get to this point? Interesting. I'm not. Interesting. I'm not actually seeing any other console logs. Even this join here, when you're joined, console log joined. It's weird. Cora client. I did change something in this debug bit. Put this back to 4. Maybe that had some impact. So weird. My console logs aren't coming. Oh, I have a filter on here. Put this back. What is this? You input a string as user ID to be sure regards highly suggests not using a string as the user ID. Oh. Okay, interesting. That's something to fix. Let's add that to our to-dos. Next. User ID for Agora needs to be a number. So let's clear this. Are we getting anything here if I reload? Cannot read properties of undefined, reading active camera. Okay, reading active camera. So scene is not defined. Orchestrator on join. This scene. Do we have this scene? Yeah, it's a scene. How is that undefined? Oh, the scene manager? So I take it this is not used here. This scene let camera equals this scene manager scene active camera. Retain the position. If I go over here like this and reload, great. Okay, so that looks fine. So where do we go? We go to next. Only save the position on unload. Okay. User ID for Agora needs to be a number. Okay, how are we generating the ID now? The ID is currently randomly generated from some characters. Let's see, that would be I believe it happens in one of the middlewares. It is maybe assigned unique ID. Identity. And here we're using unique ID random 15. Sorry, random 5. Which picks one of these random characters and I wonder if there's a way to force this back out into convert a string to an integer. Convert string to ASCII value integer. Careless. Binary first will convert to ASCII. Too careless. Hello to character list. Too careless. I'll inspect careless as lists. I don't really like this solution. It's easier just to come up with a random number. Rand uniform n. So if it's 1, 2, 1 and 2. So 10 will be numbers between 1 and 10. So you'll need a number between 1 and max integer of 32 bit. 2 million. So it's in the range of this to this. So elixir random negative number. Oh, elixir random between this number and this number. Enum random between negative Now the Agora didn't say how big the number had to be, did it? It said, warning, you put a string to ensure better end users are not using as the user ID. Can you convert UUID to integer? But their API says it can be a string. Why are they allowing it in the type and then not allowing it? What other warnings are there? New session, disable proxy server undefined, get user success, SVKT. Is that my... Oh, they're converting it for me? Manager. Are we getting something about like avatar? Does the scene manager have anything about avatar manager, persistence? Set channel on member move. Okay, on presence diff, present state. Yeah, can you show me the present state? Console log. Okay, that's us, svkxtc. And if you look at here, get user account became this. So they actually mapped it for us. So I think we might be okay. They're mapping it for us. There might be some collision, maybe, if we keep the strings short. Alright, we've done this. We've added a menu for primitive creation. Yes, let's make an emitter for the signalHub for editing the gizmo stuff. Alright, what do we have for the gizmo? What work have we done so far? Git def. Okay. Alright, so we're in Collaborative Edit Manager. And who creates a Collaborative Edit Manager? Main. Menu main. And the menu main will get reprocessed and put on a new texture. So essentially we need that when menu main is disposed of, we have to dispose of edit manager. So we gotta have new collaborative edit manager, but this thing definitely needs a dispose method here. So when this thing dispose, then we'll also do this gizmo manager dispose. And then in the main, we'll create this here, but in our dispose, we have to make sure that this edit manager is disposed of and can be freed. And that might just fix it, so we didn't actually have to, but I still think it might be better if we send messages instead of adding a call back for this toggle. Let's just test it out and see what happens. Okay, so we'll go into this mode, turn this on. Now we can spin this. Oh, when I released it and my mouse was over that, it kind of took over attention. So I've got to be careful where I release my mouse button. Okay, okay, so that's engaged. Okay. Ooh, maybe it was redrawn already, and so it disposed of it. And so every time you come out here, it will, oh, okay. Yeah. It will dispose of your... Right, which we didn't want to do that because we wanted to be able to stay in that GUI mode. So we don't want to do that. So then what we're saying is that the Collaborative Edit Manager is independent of the menu main page then, right? Since this thing is definitely destroyed over and over again, we ought to have this just in the scene manager, not here. So Edit Manager should not be a property in here. We should not have to do this, not do this. And we have the toggle, and the toggle probably just needs to send a message. So I'm going to give it a new callback. Callback, callback, callback. And then here, if this is disposed, then we remove that callback. And edit toggle. And we don't want to do this. We already have this. Okay, so what is our callback? Our callback says we're looking at the data for value unchanged, which is a function taking the data, and if the data equals 0, we're gonna say signalHub emit. Let's say edit mode is off. So we need to add a signalHub entry, and let's say edit mode, or editing, let's say true or false. So then I get over back to the thing. So emit editing is false. And here, say signalHub emit editing is true. And then we'll go to the menu manager and trap for that message. So we can say signalHub on editing, subscribe value if value is true, then this state editing equal value. Actually, we don't need this. And don't think we need to redraw anything based on that. Or maybe we do. So that changes the value, and it shouldn't bring about any gizmo. So we still have this. So if it's on, close, open, it's on. I go over here, web XR, it's on, and I exit, it's still on, turn it off, turn it in here, it's off, and of course picking this does nothing. So now we just listen to the messages. So we have editing on off. So we'll say that the collaborative edit manager is simply something that's sending messages and doing all this stuff, but we'll create it as part of the scene manager now. And I don't think we need the state type in here. We can just listen to a message in here as well. So if we say that the GUI is on or off, we can listen to that. So we don't need this. Don't really need its state at all. So we have this. So on will create a new gizmo manager and listen for all these things. Off will just totally tear down the gizmo manager. Okay, so we'll listen for signalHub on editing, and we'll subscribe to the value. So if the value is true, then we'll say this on, else this off. And will just be created by the scene manager. I guess we could even give it the orchestrator if we wanted. But right now scene is fine. So let's go have the scene manager created. So we'll go to scene manager. Import collab with that. And just create that. collab edit manager is a collaborative edit manager, and create scene. After the scene is created, partial initial scene. We can do this collab edit manager equals new this scene. So now it should exist. If we do this, we should be able to pick these things, and it remains on, and it's detached from the UI. So if we just jump over here and jump out again, if we close this, yeah, it correctly is closed. Pick something here, it remains picked. Close the menu, I can still use the picker. Open the menu, turn that off. It works great. I can pick one more thing, go into VR, it's still picked. Exit. Okay, alright. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, we got this one done as well. Okay, let's save our work here. Session 81.